Ayo, welcome into the CHGO White Sox pregame show, presented by PointsBet. Use promo code CHGO and you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Welcome into Studio A of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. And alongside me, as always, is Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23.
That's good.
He is the CHGO White Sox community leader. I liked seeing Matt Peck and Big Dave and Will Gottlieb pop up like that. Stephen, you should make that happen more often.
Preview mode got a little bit too big there.
Oh, that got huge, just like CHGO Bulls are. I mean, those guys were on TV.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The Outsiders, Bulls Outsiders. I watched them all the time back in the day. Wasn't even a Bulls fan. Glad I'm co-workers with them now.
And now they're doing this, which makes me feel like I'm in the right place. We got Nameless saying, yo, what's up, everybody, for hanging out with us. I do think one thing out of this. I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories going around about Tony La Russa now being out indefinitely, but I think I agree with Abraham Garcia. It's the goose. The Goose has claimed another one. All the injuries this year from the White Sox. Now Tony adding on to the injury slash medical issues. We can blame the Goose and the death of the Goose. Thanks, Miller Lite. And that's why our beer tender's dead.
He got killed. The Goose came in late night and killed our beer tender, our Miller Lite bobblehead guy. We tried to blame the Cubs, but we all know the Goose has been menacing, injuring every White Sox player ever this year, except for Jose Abreu, who's the Iron Man. Sean's over there trying to get the Miller Lite guy put all together. But the Goose is the one who killed our Miller Lite guy, given to me by my Sox summer from the 108.
Didn't he just have a birthday? I know Chirizi did, but
I don't know if my Sox summer had a birthday. He probably has one every year.
probably.
But,
Happy birthday.
yeah, that was given to us by him, and no more than 2 months later, death.
He's dead.
And
they killed my boy.
And to extend the conspiracy, where does the 108 sit right next to?
The Goose.
Now the Miller Lite Landing. So he knew that he was going to seek out and kill the Miller Lite man because you don't change my name to the Miller Lite Landing. Get that shit as the Goose. And as Vinny said, it should be a honk every time they hit a home run, and beer should spout out of the mouth of the Goose.
Like a goal horn. I mean, just borrow one from the Blackhawks.
I mean, that would explain the White Sox struggles this year more than the actual games that they've been playing and the struggles with the bat and with the pitching this year. I would take the curse over what's been happening this year.
Right, seemingly all the players being zapped of their powers. Let's go into some of the Tony news. A lot of it coming out, not shockingly, from Bob Nightingale of USA Today. He had the big story, White Sox manager Tony La Russa will see a heart specialist out indefinitely. The main part of the story, Chicago White Sox manager Tony La Russa will be out indefinitely while undergoing tests on his heart, according to a person with direct knowledge of the situation. The person spoke to USA Today on the conditions of anonymity.
Yep.
Ooh, because the White Sox had yet to make an announcement. They have now made an announcement that Miguel Cairo will be the interim acting manager. La Russa will fly to Phoenix on Wednesday night and is scheduled to see doctors Thursday at the Mayo Clinic. La Russa, 77, baseball's oldest manager, recently had tests by a cardiologist in Chicago who recommended Tuesday night that he miss the game against the Kansas City Royals. La Russa underwent further tests Wednesday, and it was advised that he see heart specialists. So again, kind of connecting to what we heard in May from his daughter calling him twice after a post-game during a stressful game. It seems like Tony, a 77-year-old man, is having some issues with his heart because that's what 77-year-old men do.
Yeah, and if you're on this team, there's no way that this doesn't affect you. Sean and I are not on the team, and it's affecting us. But luckily, we have decent enough hearts. I don't have any heart problems as yet. If I was 77 years old, you better believe I would be in trouble right now. So Tony takes these losses really hard. They've lost 3 games more than they've won. So Vinny comes on here and tells you that all the time. Ask me after the game and think about that. 66 times this year on a team that wasn't supposed to lose this many times this year. He's taking this really hard on him, and I hope he gets the help that he needs down there in Arizona, and he gets the A-OK, whatever that means. Either he stays at the house for the rest of the year and convalesces and gets back to 100% and comes back next year, which is not my druthers. I just want him healthy no matter what out of this. So if he feels a clean bill of health and comes back over the weekend, so be it. I just want the man to be healthy. Now, I don't want him to be a manager of the White Sox past this year. But if he wants to and he feels up to it, it's up to him. I want Tony to be healthy and have a fruitful life after his White Sox career.
You always hear from UFC fighters or boxing fighters, once you retire, it's kind of your body saying, all right, it's time to give up. And you even hear this with apparently Bruce Bochy, like he might get back into managing. If you are making the decision to retire, it's your body telling you that it is time to stop. And Tony La Russa's body told him to stop 11 years ago. Okay, I am not shocked that this is something that has been added into the White Sox mix. And I think that, your point is if Tony wants to come back, he is free to come back if, that's what he wants to do with his health. I think that if you're having this many issues, flying around the country as a 77-year-old man, working as much as you do, working late nights as well.
Not getting great sleep.
Right. So I just don't think that this is the right job for a 77-year-old, mainly because the retirement age in this country is 65 for a reason.
And I think that everybody handles things differently, but I mostly hear from former athletes what they miss the most is the camaraderie that can't be replaced in your outside life. If you go traveling and stuff and do things that you want to do, that's cool. But, he's been playing and managing baseball probably for 5 decades. It's hard to fill that void of what he is. That's who he is. That's the person he is. I know he got his Juris Doctorate back in the day in the 70s, but he's been a baseball player for most of his life. And so to find the equivalent to that, and we heard Vinny said that when he was up in Boston, the Arizona, and the Angels front office helping them out, it's not the same. It's not the same joy. It's not the same baseball feel that he had before. He said it was killing him to watch those games down there without any control. So, yeah, while his body's telling him, hey, it might be time, his mind's like, I'm a baseball player. I'm going to do this until I can. So it's up to him what's going on with his body, to listen to his body and take proper care of it and then go on from there. He can find another thing. If he needs to find another thing, find another thing. But it can't be as stressful as a White Sox underachieving season.
Right, and you were right with 50 years in baseball because his book's name is One Last Strike, 50 years in baseball, 10 and a half games back, and one final championship season. So I hear your point, and, there's not much left for him to accomplish. And Daniel Stack in the chat saying, Bruce Bochy is a good 10 years younger than Tony, big difference. But the idea is that if you're 60 and your body's telling you to retire, maybe you should stay retired, whether you're 76 or 66 or 55. If your body's telling you, hey, let's hang it up, then you should hang it up. I don't know. We have some more news, too, from this story from Vinny Duber, who just recently posted an article to allchgo.com. He followed up by saying, all we know came from either a press release or from Miguel Cairo, who will be filling in as the team's acting manager until La Russa is able to return. According to La Russa's bench coach, there was no specific incidents, such as feigning or something like that, triggering this absence shortly before the start of Tuesday night's game and a next-day return to Arizona. Cairo even said La Russa described himself as feeling fine Wednesday and that the two have been talking and texting about lineups. And then Cairo also had a quote, "You saw me changing pictures like crazy yesterday," Cairo said, asked what he's learned from La Russa over the last 2 years. "He really prepares himself. I've learned how to prepare myself. I didn't ask too many questions because he's so into the game and I watch him and the way he does it. I cannot be Tony La Russa. He's a Hall of Famer. He's got a lot of wins, but I've learned so much from him, the way he handles himself, the way he handles the clubhouse, the players. Believe me, he's going to be watching. He's going to be checking. I already asked him, how did I do yesterday? And he said, you did fine." So Tony is checking in, and Tony has still got a pulse on this team. So I do think that it is interesting that there is no specific incidents, that he just, I guess, stopped feeling fine.
He's listening to his body. That's good. Maybe he doesn't need a dramatic, feigning or something and passing out. He knows his body. He understands where his body's going through. He's been with it since 77 for 77 years. But the thing I want to get to is the fact that Andrew Vaughn was speaking to the assembled media before the game, said the team had a meeting after the game yesterday, but he found out that Tony wasn't going to be managing on Tuesday night through Twitter.
Right.
Same thing with Gavin Sheets, and then we heard that Lucas Giolito found out that Tony wasn't going to be managing by looking up the scoreboard. And so the lack of communication on this team, we probably found out before the White Sox players. There's no excuse for that. Somebody, Kenny, Rick Hahn, one of the communications people. Hey, guys, we got to gather together. Got to talk about something serious. Tony will not be here today. To have their players find out about it on Twitter, just like you and I, is inexcusable. This is a dysfunctional organization where players find out the health of their manager via Twitter instead of from their front office, from people who are in charge. That's bad. Yeah. That's really bad.
Well, and I find it funny, too, that likely when we were talking about the White Sox and their lack of leadership and cliques in the clubhouse, we assume that since it was a Bob Nightingale report, that it came from somebody in the White Sox front office. So I find it very funny that the same group and the same leadership staff that went down and gave a good old yelling to the White Sox before Tim Anderson was announced as a starter for the Major League All-Star game, that they don't have the leadership to gather up the players and let them know about Tony La Russa's absence. I think that's truly a indictment on that leadership for this team. I think it's ridiculous that you don't have a meeting just to let the players know. You have an hour before the game just to let them know, hey, Tony won't be here. Maybe they didn't want to distract them with the missing of Tony La Russa, but also you show up to the dugout, and I told you this, it's like if we show up to interview Vinny later in the postgame, and it's like Mark Gonzalez pops up. Like, where is Tony? I'm showing up in the dugout. We got everybody. We got all the 26 men. Oh, there's Ethan. There's Miguel. Where's Tony? Right? I mean, like, there's no even communicate. Like, your mind will be racing regardless with the news because his presence isn't there. I forget who said this, but it was articulated very well. Whenever the White Sox are in front of the national media, it's not about the White Sox anymore. It's not about this fun, young, exciting team. It's about Tony La Russa.
Yep.
What was the one game that was void of the Tony La Russa talk? The Field of Dreams game.
Because he
wasn't there. And it was all about baseball that night. And that's nothing on Tony. Tony is a very, and hey, look, there's someone behind us. Hello.
You're on TV.
You're on TV.
Or YouTube. He's like, Duck, oh no.
Oh, God.
I want to get to, I think it was a little up, Steven, Chi-Town fanboy. Hahn and Kenny still have not talked to the media, leaving the players to handle all of this. Just terrible. Great point right there. Somebody today, 4 o'clock presser. Hey, guys, Tony's out indefinitely. They just sent that out, just a tweet they sent out at about 4 or 5 o'clock and said, hey, yeah, the reports you're hearing are true. This is what Tony's doing. And that is a very good point by Fanboy. Somebody has some leadership and talk to the media and let them control the narrative. Let them control what's going on with Tony. Get some specifics from them. And if they can't talk more about it, hey, guys, no comment. Tony's going through something. We can't really speculate more further than that, but we just wanted to tell you that Tony's not going to be managing indefinitely. Something's going on with him. He's flying back to Phoenix. That's it.
Yeah, I think that they might think the press release might be enough. What Vinny said in his article about that, we don't know what happened other than USA Today's Bob Nightingale's reporting that La Russa will see a heart specialist. Andrew Vaughn, one of the few players who spoke before Wednesday's game, must have seen that on Twitter. 2, the only person in the White Sox employ to even guess that it might have been something to do with that part of La Russa's body. The White Sox as an organization are holding back on elaboration until there's more information, which is why we didn't hear from Rick Hahn on Wednesday. So maybe Rick Hahn spoke and gave them an update and was just like, hey, what the press release says is what the press release says, and we're just not going to elaborate. So maybe Rick said something to the media, but there wasn't like a quote or anything like that because there's nothing else to pass along. I don't know, but I know that clearly Lucas Giolito saw on the scoreboard Tony La Russa will not be at today's game. Gavin said he saw it on social media. I'm assuming Twitter. Andrew Vaughn said he saw it on Twitter. So at least within the hour before they played that game, the White Sox did not have sufficient communication with their players about Tony La Russa and his status.
And that is very, very bad communication for the White Sox. And I'm sure they're not happy with us talking about this, but be better. Be better at your jobs. This is very unprofessional of you to not have anybody front-facing and saying, I'm the representative that's going to be speaking for the White Sox, and saying, this is what's going on. Tony won't be here. I know it happened all haphazardly, but the press box is up there in the 400 section. Somebody, Rick Hahn could have walked up there and said, hey, guys, I got a thing to tell you guys. and this is what I want you guys to know about this, so he can be the front-facing person of the White Sox, and they can, like, the media can run with us. Like, yes, Rick Hahn told us this, and we're passing it on to you. Instead of a press release who you don't know who wrote that. Somebody in communications, Rick Hahn, there's no name to it.
Yeah. It's just an odd situation. Again, and going back to it, like, I don't know, like, there wasn't an incident that started this. He must have just not been feeling fine. But at one point, like...
But we remember when Vinny, after the Sunday game, said... That's the maddest he's ever seen Tony.
Right.
Ever. And he's been with them, 2 years? And the 2 years here that he's been managing with the White Sox. And he's seen him mostly every home game. And so for Vinny to point that out and this to happen 2 days later, there was an in-between the Field of Greens outing. I don't know if he went there. But we came back on Tuesday, talked to him again, the assembled media. And then 2 hours after that, Tony's gone because he has a illness. So... maybe it is because he just was so angry and he couldn't get back from there. And maybe the talking to the media again brought up some more memories of, oh, God, we just did get swept by my former club, the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, maybe there's a question about Dylan Cease giving up 2 home runs and it just, like, set off his blood pressure and shot it up.
That's a good point, Alex Rude. He hasn't done his usual first game of the homestand pressers as usual, as Rick Hahn is one to do. Yeah,
and I think Jim Margulis ended up saying something along those lines on Twitter, basically talking about the Andrew Vaughn stuff, and in reply to the Andrew Vaughn tweet of him saying that he found out on Twitter, and said, it's weird that the players have done all the talking instead of Rick Hahn, exactly what you're saying. And I said, funny how he hasn't talked since his passionate display of anger at the deadline, which is true. We have not seen him since that deadline day of August 2nd. So it's been a full month. There's been plenty enough home stands for Rick Hahn to speak, but he doesn't want to talk about his underperforming team, and why would you? Because he didn't add to it, wasn't an inspiring team to add to, and even though your number one player that you signed to an extension, Luis Robert, can't play because of his wrist, I think that's enough to talk to the media and give an update about, because that's something that's ridiculously concerning. And you know who's left to do that? Miguel Cairo, because this is another White Sox lineup without Luis Robert. We do have an update from Miguel Cairo on Luis Robert from Vinny La Russa, and what...
I just said it again. Vinny La Russa.
Vinny La Russa. I keep doing... God damn it.
I love it. You did it in pregame before the show started. Now Vinny La Russa.
Vinny La Russa. Oh, wow. It's the Italian name. Miguel Cairo gave an update on Luis Robert, and this is from Vinny Duber at Vinny Duber, which is the same update on Luis Robert as it's been. Right now it's day to day, so we're going to see how he feels tomorrow, and hopefully he will be in the lineup soon. Hopefully.
As you said, like, this is dumb. They've been doing this all goddamn year with this IL and not putting people on the IL when they're clearly hurt. Like, we saw Lurie Garcia play like 3 games in a row where he was clearly hurt. He couldn't do anything either with his foot. They said it was a back problem, and eventually they put him on the IL. Luis Robert could not swing, and you brought up the point that the whole time when Tony's saying that he looked good in batting practice, he was swinging with one hand, as you saw in the games. That is unacceptable. This team has so many layers. You don't know what to attack first. The bad offense, the bad pitching, the bad managing, the bad management, the bad owner. There's so much of bad here. So it's like, I think they're doing this on purpose to say, you don't know what you're like distracted by different types of badness. It's like, I don't know what to focus on. Everything is bad.
What's not bad is our comment section, who
these guys are killing it.
Loved Vinny La Russa, especially Daniel Steck, who said Vinny La Russa was a great captain for The Sopranos. Forget about it. So we just need Matthew Cortese in here. Where's our guy?
Vinny La Russa was the antagonist in Karate Kid.
Vinny La Russa was the third of the 4 seasons in Frankie Valli and the 4 Seasons. Let's look at the Sox starting lineup without Luis Robert. Leading off for the Chicago White Sox is going to be Elvis Andrus at shortstop, batting second. Andrew Vaughn in left field, batting third. Jose Abreu at first base, batting fourth. Eloy Jimenez at designated hitter, batting fifth. A.J. Pollock at center field, batting sixth. He's back. Yasmani Grandal at catcher. Batting 7th, Gavin Sheets out in right field. Feels like he should be higher. Batting 8th, Josh Harrison at third base. And batting 9th, Romy Gonzalez at second base. The White Sox now have had 13 unique leadoff hitters. Romy Gonzalez this past weekend made it 12. Elvis Andrus made it 13. The interesting thing, Yasmani Grandal is back. Carlos Perez goes down because he had minor league options. Tanner Banks also sent down because Lance Lynn was activated off the bereavement list, and he will be starting today for the Sox.
I like how we're already crapping on Miguel Cairo's lineups. And it's right. Like, Gavin Sheets is having a good month, and he's having some great power. 2 home runs yesterday to be the first White Sox player to do that at home this year. And he's batting 7th behind a struggling Yasmani Grandal. He should be a little higher. And this is a lefty going on the bump, so they probably want to protect him from the terrifying Chris Bubich and bat him lower in the order. But the man's been mashing. Put him up higher. Put him up 5, 6. Definitely ahead of Yasmani Grandal, who's just coming back from injury.
I think that's probably the most shocking thing too, because if we look at the lineup, AJ Pollock played yesterday, but he's not playing today against a left-handed hitter. Oh, he is. He's out in center field. So I guess no Adam Engel, who's been banished.
I mean, switching Pollock with Gavin Sheets makes more sense for me. Much more sense.
You'd rather have Sheets bat 7?
No, Sheets bat 5th and Pollock bat 5th. He hasn't earned, batting 5th. That's more of a power spot, and he hasn't shown a lot of power this year. And by the way, we got a super chat from Baseball Toss.
Yes.
$5.
I've heard rumors that Tony has had heart failure. Is that possible? And is he done managing? The rumors that we have heard have not been that severe. So I do not think Tony La Russa is dealing with anything as severe as heart failure. So I think it's very, very less than that. I don't know if he's done managing. I think that would be at the behest of his, doctors and what his doctors say. And what we know from the Bob Nightingale report is that he won't be meeting with his actual doctors in Phoenix until tomorrow. So I do not think it's anything as serious as heart failure. Miguel Cairo even saying that he's talking to Tony La Russa. I think if he was dealing with heart failure, he wouldn't be talking to Miguel Cairo about a little baseball game. So yeah. I don't think it's as serious as that.
And I don't know the exact depths of heart failure, if it could be as minor as heart failure can be. I don't know how long it is. Like, you can have severe heart failure, you can have, benign heart failure. I don't know that. So it's possible. I'm not a doctor. I do not play one on YouTube either. So whatever it is ailing him going back to Phoenix tells me it's pretty damn serious, because we have world-class doctors here. The White Sox partner with Rush here, and they have a heart specialist here. So him going back to see his own doctors out there in Phoenix tells me it's something serious. It's something that he have to worry about for himself to get himself back to as close to 100% as a 77-year-old can be.
Right, and maybe he gets a pacemaker. Maybe he already has one at his age. I'm not sure. I don't know Tony La Russa's medical dealings, so I think that's a difficult game to get into. So Tony, we wish him the best. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. Hopefully it's manageable. Like Steven said, even if it is heart failure, it is manageable and can be manageable. We have a lot of great new ways to take care of your body with technology. So shout out to science. It's worth it.
Apparently we got Stephen Gowett. He's like a medical guy. He's got all this stuff. He's out here. Mayo Clinic, Arizona is one of the best CV hospitals in the country.
I think
cardiovascular.
Cardiovascular. Thank you very much.
My guy, Stephen Gowett.
He's our guy. Maybe we should have him, and he could be our doctor, our YouTube doctor. But just looking at some of the stats, going back to the White Sox lineup, Gavin Sheets hitting .477 against White Sox or left-handed hitters. So I think it's basically, did you want to play Adam Engel or Gavin Sheets? Because AJ Pollock versus left-handers, a 915 OPS. Gavin Sheets and Yasmani Grandal an 836 OPS. Gavin Sheets a 477 OPS against left-handers. But after the monster night that he had, Adam Engel's bad night in Baltimore, Gavin Sheets gets the starts. Oh, and hey, Steven works in cardiology.
Should we be calling you Doctor Steven?
He said he works in cardiology. He said he is a cardiologist.
Doctors work in cardiology.
But I think he would say,
are you a RN?
Yeah, but if you're a doctor, I think you'd probably be like, I'm a doctor.
We got some smart people in the chat.
I don't know why they're watching
Smarts.
us. Shout out to Matthew Cortese. He's in the chat, our guy. Anyways, let's go.
Matthew's not picking the 5-0 in the no-hitter anymore.
Well, we haven't given the prompt yet. And Stephen Garrett saying, no, not a clinician. So not a.
You're my clinician.
Yeah, can you be? I mean, you could be the resident CHGO White Sox clinician, even if you're not, capable of doing that. We'd still love to have you. Anyways, let's look at the Royals lineup. Leading off, MJ Melendez in left field. Batting second, Bobby Witt Jr. at third base. Batting third, Salvador Perez at catcher. Batting fourth, Nick Pratto at first base. I like the City Connect jerseys. I like Nick Pratto's ugly unibrow, and I dislike what he did at the plate yesterday. Batting fifth, Michael A. Taylor in center field. Clearly, Steven has to put the respect on Michael Taylor after he hits a home run yesterday.
Yeah.
Batting sixth, the pride of Brother Rice High School, Michael Massey, second base. Batting seventh, Hunter Dozier at designated hitter. Batting eighth, Nicky Lopez at shortstop. And batting ninth, Drew Waters in right field. What's up with not using Michael Massey Illinois photos? Thought we're doing Michael Massey every day.
Yeah, Pratto homer twice yesterday. Brother Rice got bumped down for that.
So did Illinois.
Yeah, so did Illinois.
Yeah.
No love for the Illini.
What's going on with this? Colin Witt saying Salvi's scratched. So if we can confirm that,
I'm checking it out.
That'd be good to see.
I don't want people to be injured or hurt. James Fegan says Salvador Perez was scratched from the Royals lineup.
Okay, so no Salvi.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that they'll probably move Melendez.
Melendez is catching.
Yeah.
And then Hunter Dozier the one that was missing. Let me check.
Dozier to left then. Dozier was in the lineup.
DH. Right, I'm just gonna read it off right now. Melendez catching, Witt at third, Nick Pratto playing first, Michael Taylor, he's playing center, batting fourth, Michael Massey's fifth, playing second, Hunter Dozier DHing, batting sixth. Kyle Isbell in left, batting seventh. Drew Waters gets bumped up one spot to right. And Nicky Lopez, Naperville Central's own Nicky Lopez at short.
Could you imagine that? The lineup comes out at 8 and some guy gets moved out and you go from 8 to 9?
That would suck.
I would be MFing.
Me too.
Mike Matheny. Are you kidding me?
I would already be doing that because it's a terrible manager. But back problems, back tightness for Salvador Perez. Thank Jesus that sumbitch won't be hitting home runs tonight.
Not fun. Sucks for Salvi. But good for us.
Miss tomorrow too, brother. You got back tightness tomorrow too.
I think he had like 6 total bases.
Please have some back tightness tomorrow, brother.
Not fun to watch. And Lance Lynn doesn't have to deal with him. That's good. But
does Pratto have some back problems too?
Hey, they gave Vinny Pasquantino some shoulder issues that one game. So
great. I'm sorry, but great. Don't play against us because you guys are great versus us.
Hey, they already won the season series. Anyways, let's look at the starting pitching matchups. We got the Big Bastard versus Chris Bubic. In 99 and 1/3 innings, Bubic has a 5.62 ERA, 118 hits allowed, 83 strikeouts, 49 walks, and an ERA plus of 73. Lance Lynn in 77 and 1/3 innings, a 5 ERA, 79 hits allowed, 83 strikeouts, 13 walks, and an 80 ERA plus. You look at those numbers, and it feels like Lance Lynn probably should have better numbers.
He should. He's been pitching better than the 5 ERA indicates. A couple late times when he's been in the game versus these Royals. He got two-run home runs hit against him and left the game after, I think, 6 innings. He looked good in that game, except for those 2 pitches that he threw to those particular batters. But if the White Sox don't get loose off of Bubic, it's just going to be the same old story. That guy is no damn good. They should be teeing off on him. And if Yasmani Grandal's back and he's got that fucking attitude, let's see it tonight. Chris Bubic is the perfect pitcher to have some fucking against.
Amen.
And go off on him.
Yeah, and hey, we'll see if Yasmani does have that fucking attitude. Hopefully AJ Pollock starts pulling balls. Maybe Gavin Sheets inspires some people to pull some balls. Aloy was hitting bombs last night. That was an impressive one to see, so we'll see what the White Sox can do. Baseball Toss asking what's a good ERA plus. 100 is average, but let's look at Lance Lynn, who really hasn't been average in the last 7 games. The Big Bastard has been good in the past couple games for the Sox. 8 of his last 9 games, he's had 6 or more strikeouts. He's 2-2 in his last 7 games, which speaks a lot about the White Sox offense, because in 41 and 1/3 innings pitched over his last 7 games, he's got a 2.83 ERA, a .9 WHIP, 48 strikeouts, 4 walks, 8 homers, which isn't great, but hey,
mostly solo shots.
So I love to see this Lance Lynn. It feels like he's gaining his velocity back. Really feels like he's coming back to that big bastard that he was last year.
And that's what the White Sox need if they want to get this 6 games deficit dwindled down to nothing versus the Cleveland Guardians. So tonight is a big game for Lance Lynn to shove it up the Kansas City Royals. Giggy.
And if you want to bet on Lance Lynn shoving up the Kansas City Royals Giggy,
It's like a Terry Boers thing.
Hey, buy cracky, friend. Yeah. PointsBet Sportsbook is counting down the days until the football season with a new offer every day until the season kicks off. From now until September 8th, PointsBet's Power Hour will kick off until will unlock a new daily offer from 12 to 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. So sign up for PointsBet now using code CHGO to also get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Don't miss out on your chance to get daily access to free bets, boosted odds, and so much more now through September 8th. But that's not it. If you make a $51 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from a CHGO locker. We have the brand new QB1 shirt in the CHGO locker. You can head over and check out all of our selections at CHGOlocker.com.
I got my size C one.
You got your size C shirt on.
Right now.
Herb representing CHGO White Sox. If you want to get a badass White Sox shirt, you can, again, download the PointsBet app, use code CHGO, and make a first-time deposit of $51 or more. You'll get a free CHGO membership and a free T-shirt, which, again, could be the one that Herb's wearing. Not the exact one. You'll get your own. And you can download the PointsBet app today and use code CHGO to take advantage of this limited-time offer. So don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER for crisis counseling and referral services. Herb, the White Sox on the money line today at PointsBet is minus 210. If you want to take them on the run line at minus 1.5, if you think the White Sox will win by 2 or more runs, you can get them at plus 100. I like a little bit more juice on the things I bet, so I'm not going to bet on the White Sox tonight. But what is your click to pick, and you got any predictions for the folks?
It's the last day of August. I'm going to go with August Abreu.
There you go.
And I hope that he hits his 3rd and 4th home runs of this month, which he started the month off early. I think his first 4 games he hit 2 home runs. So let's end off the month in a correct way. I think the White Sox will lose this game to Chris Bubich and the boys. It'll be 8-5.
See, I appreciate you, Herb. I appreciate the pick. I love the Abreu pick. I just think the White Sox are going to win today. They had 7 runs last night. They usually don't score that many. They wasted 3 home runs, which was just brutal to see. We got to win one for Vinny La Russa, awesome. Our guy. I just think that the White Sox, especially against Chris Bubich, who struggled so much recently, he's really relying on his four-seam fastball. As a left-handed pitcher against the White Sox, that should not work. I'm really, really hoping that Chris Bubich has a bad day. His fastball velocity has also dipped a lot. I just think the White Sox nail him. So I'm going to go White Sox win 8-2. Lance Lynn has a nice day. Eloy Jimenez has another homer, and I think he closes out a very, very strong August with a homer. And Money D's wondering why Moncada isn't hitting his weight, which I haven't seen it put that way yet.
Yeah. I mean, he might weigh, what, not 195?
How much is it? Yeah, is Moncada 200 pounds?
I mean,
He might be 185.
He looks as if, because he's, thickly built.
Yeah.
But I think he might be like 195. 225.
225. He does not look 225.
Goddamn running back out here.
He's 6'2", though.
Definitely not hitting
He's out
his weight.
here. Eddie George in it. 6'2", 225.
Hitting 197. What's his sprint speed? Yeah, maybe you put him in behind Montgomery. David Montgomery is the running back for the Bears if David Montgomery takes too much punishment. Anyways, we are going to wrap this up. Sheba Doge going with Andrew Vaughn for his pick to click. 5-0 White Sox, but there will be hits for Matthew Cortese. And Daniel Stack says we need to win one for Johnny. Who's Johnny?
Johnny, it's a outsider's thing.
Oh, okay.
Do it for Johnny, man!
Dave Golden, Pony Boy.
It's after Johnny died.
I remember I watched that in like 5th grade and then immediately flushed it down the toilet.
Actually, that was when Johnny got in the fire and it hit him. He was still alive at that time.
Right. In the abandoned barn.
Yeah, when they were going out and fighting the Socias. The Greasers or the Socias.
That's top greaser Herb Lawrence. You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. I'm top Soch, Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Put him in a body bag. That's a completely different movie. We'll talk to you guys later.
We did talk about Karate Kid earlier, so Steven's making a full circle.
What did we talk about?
I said that Daniel La Russa or Tony La Russa or Vinny La Russa is the main antagonist in Karate Kid. Yes, he's the enemy. He's the bully. Johnny Lawrence, my cousin, was the was the playboy, was the good guy that Daniel La Russa stole his girl from.
You, Gunnar Henderson, and Daniel Zapka are all cousins here. Anyways, we'll join you for the post-game show. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, and make sure you hit that notification bell to talk to us after the game. We'll be live after the final out. Hopefully the White Sox win. Go White Sox.